Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Celina Cordoba L, and I just wanted to thank everyone for their recent comments on the post that I made yesterday. I didn't have too much time to get into it, but again, I just wanted to plant the seed and actually see how you guys felt. So, yeah, the whole thing with chewing gum, it's not that we want to criticize or find fault in anybody having work and getting their face out there. That's always a good thing, right? But the flip of that coin is, what are we getting our face out there portraying? What are we saying as a people? What are we saying about ourselves? I saw a couple of minutes because, like I said yesterday, it was not something that I could really watch in its complexity. But the whole thing with the white boy, I don't remember his name, but he was like, oh my God, can you wear your little white hat? I really like when you look like a slave. You're like my favorite slave. And I'm like, this girl, this actress has got to act like this is gonna be the sex, the love interest of her life. And then the other flip of the character is you get this, the brother, right? The black man who is like, either he's a homosexual who's using religion as a means to, like, I always find it so funny that as soon as I start doing something, the distractions come in, but it's okay. Who's using religion as like a means to either quell his sexuality or not necessarily address and deal with it. So again, we're dealing with like all of these scripts and issues and problems. I was gonna get up and move, but this is life. I've got to learn how to push through things like this and talk a little bit louder. But anyway, that's my problem with roles like this. It's not to say that we're not grateful to get the opportunity to, be on film, but the type of characters that these directors and these producers are allowing women of my color to take, it's like we've always got to be at the bottom. Or then if we're not that, we're either being Mary Jane or scandalous, right? We've got to be scandalous. We've always got to have a white man as a love interest. We never can have our own. If we do have our own, they've got to be in conflict. Or so rather than thinking of the problem, I definitely want to create the solution. I'm definitely going to put out a little web series soon that I hope you guys enjoy. But, my whole thing is not even really in the enjoyment. It's in actually telling a story and just being able to write about something that I don't necessarily see a lot of. And I know it's not just me that wants roles and wants to see women, not only of color, but Indian women that are Puerto Rican that aren't always the typical stereotype. It would be so amazing if we had more roles like this. But if we're only taking roles that portray us as these lowly black women who are constantly searching for the white man to not only validate our beauty, but to affirm who we are, and what that is the lowest class and the lowest caste in society. So I always find that very interesting that even in like Sex and the City, Samantha could have at least, she could be a journalist, she could be a writer. Yes, we could all enjoy sex, and all of the characters on Sex and the City did enjoy sex, but there could be a little bit more as well. So I'm gonna take this to camera too. We were just doing a little thing. Gotta introduce yourself to people. I'm not on anyone's property right now, so I'm just sitting in a little cocoon, and sometimes I attract interesting energy. So, hi, part 2. Basically, that's my point, is not to say that we're not grateful for these roles, but we still want to be able to be discerning. And I was talking about Sex in the City. All of the characters in Sex in the City could have a passion, can do something, they could be successful. Miranda could be an attorney, Carrie could be a writer, Samantha could be a realtor and a businesswoman of many different. So these women had confidence in themselves. They were go-getters. They weren't just women that were looking. The storyline is just very mundane. It's very monochromatic is the choice of the word. And all of that is to say that we're more than that. So let's do better and get better and take better. And camera 2 was, I was asked the other day, how did I get through, or, relationships, it's not like you can get through things without going through something. So for me, it's taking time. I think a lot of women really want to not feel certain things for a while. Being emotional, crying for a weekend, that can be a lot. Women don't like to cry as much as we should when we are feeling something. Don't bottle your emotions up. You definitely want to drink a lot of water. The basics, like I said, are very underestimated. You want to drink water. And what I started to think of doing was surrounding myself around things that I really enjoy, like flowers. Even if I have to get them myself once a week, buy yourself a little set of flowers, put them in your water when you're taking a bath. All these things sound really mundane and like non-important, but they really make a big difference. You want to be able to take baths at least 3 times a week. They're a little tedious, but you'll see and feel the difference after. Skin brushing. Skin brush every day, ladies. Exercise. I know it sounds crazy, but working out really, really does allow your body to bust through a kundalini sweat. It allows your skin to perspire, so you feel a little bit of chi. It's not like you're just using sex as a means to feel good about yourself. So try to think of sweating, bathing, drinking a lot more warm tea at night, and allowing yourself to feel and cry, and saying to yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why am I crying? What emotion am I having? What do I feel out of control with? And start to gauge it. You don't want to feel like you're too emotive, where you're like almost in a depressed state. But it's okay to be depressed if you are for a little while. Going through, especially when you know any type of decision that you make may affect someone else's emotional state, is extremely difficult to do. I found that to take myself at least 2 years to even confront and want to address and talk about how I felt, because again, it's no one's fault for how you feel. But if you're in a relationship, whoever you're in it with is going to definitely feel responsible for your emotional state or how you are. So it's a fine line where you want to be able to communicate how you're feeling, but again, not making it someone else's necessary responsibility to take you out of that feeling or to make you feel different. So again, our emotional bodies are things that people do not like to address, engage, but I definitely think that it's time to turn off our phones. When you find yourself being irritated by texts, don't accept them. Don't take phone calls. Don't go on social media for a while. Take a little time out, and don't feel as though you have to explain yourself as to why you're doing so. That's a huge thing, feeling as though you always need to explain or to be understood. You don't always need to be understood. Going through personal things and decisions that affect not only you but your family are huge. So for me, it's not something that I took lightly, but it's also something that I took 3 years to decide on my own. When I say on my own, don't talk to girlfriends or friends or family. Don't ask other people's opinions about what you feel and what you want to do. Write everything down so you could chart your thoughts. Make sure that you're not keeping anything from yourself. Meaning, like, if you have a feeling about something after you experience something and it's not good, don't keep doing it expecting a different result. These are simple things in knowing your own body, knowing yourself, but a lot of people do things kind of antithesis now. We do things for, the sake of pleasing others, and that's where you can get lost. So really, it's not to say that it's easy getting out, especially of an extremely long relationship or anything that's passion-filled for that matter. You want to take your time and not necessarily use anyone else's energy to springboard yourself out or to get into anything else. I know a lot of women that have never just taken time to be with themselves. And when I say that, I mean like at least, a year, 6 months to a year, to just not necessarily give your energy sexually into anything. That doesn't mean that you're choosing celibacy. It just means that you came out of something, and before, making someone else responsible for anything, you want to really come to terms. And for myself, it could take a little longer because I'm a pretty committed person with my emotional body. So getting out of something for me isn't going to be jumping into something else right away. But these are the things that we say in being honest with yourself. Also, I can't highlight exercising more than enough. You know, a lot of women think that stretching and doing yoga, if you're not busting a sweat, if you're not running and feeling your heart kind of like it's gonna explode, if you don't feel as though you're gonna kind of get to that brink where you could, you know, kind of be out of breath, you're not pushing yourself to your extreme, and you won't bust a sweat. Exercising is definitely about releasing toxins. And if you're just doing yoga, but you're not sweating, it's definitely something that you need to take heed to. And definitely twice, 3 times a week, exercise. So these are just small things that we could start to do every day, but every day is difficult. Every day means consistent. So, you know, try to create a small schedule for yourself. Go to bed the same time, which I don't do. I don't get enough sleep a night, but you know these things and you say, hey, I gotta work myself from 5 to 7 at least, right? So you try, and you don't punish yourself when you're not doing things well. But I think the main things is diet, exercise, and not making someone else responsible for how you feel, which is huge in any relationship. But you do have to say, hey, I'm part in this, and I'm not part to blame, but blame men and thing. It's like, well, you experienced that with them on that time. You know, there's certain things that, you know, people are so ashamed of, and you have to say to yourself, well, at least you're not experiencing them anymore, you know? Don't allow yourself to experience things that don't bring you solace or make you think and overthink things. And, you know, jealousy and envy is a serious monster. A lot of women I know are always concerned about what another woman is doing, and that is, it's such a basic little notation, but it's huge. If we can figure out ways to not be invested in what other people are doing, you can start to recycle that energy into what you can create. So whether that's a journal, drawing a little bit at night, taking a jog, making music, doing something that comes from you, right? Art imitates life. So a lot of artists aren't even great singers, but they sing because they have to make a song, you know, or they write because they have to tell the story. So it's not more really about how good you are, but about the journey and getting it done. So definitely think about what you can contribute to not only your own life, but I think of them as breadcrumbs, you know. I want to leave not only memories that mean something to myself, but something that I could also show my offspring. Not only that mommy helped someone else accomplish X, Y, and Z, but mommy also took a little time to do A, B, and C, because, you know, the world is such a fickle place. As, you know, I look and I'm grateful that I'm not doing things without knowing why I'm doing them. That's such a huge thing now. People do so much and they don't even know why they're experiencing it, other than to feel good or to, you know, not be alone. So if that's your fear, take a little time out and do actual exercises, spending time by yourself, whether it's going to the movies once a week or just going to your favorite restaurant and eating by yourself, turning off your phone and just eating by yourself. That's about it. Start there and, you know, take it a little bit a day. Drink good water. Try not to eat too much heavy stuff. And when you do need to eat a candy bar at night, do that. When you do need to eat a little bit of a gelato ice cream, do that. And then the next morning, get up, no matter how lazy you feel, and run. Whether it's for 20 to 30 minutes, just take a light jog, wherever you are in the world. And say to yourself, it's gonna get better. It could take about, you know, I definitely cried for about 12 months. And these are the things that people think is embarrassing, but why, if it's something that I experienced? And in knowing that it could help someone, like, I look happy because I addressed when I was sad. You understand? So cry when you have to cry. I cried every day for about 8 to 12 months just because I didn't feel right. A lot of people do that. It's like, I don't want to give up the dick, so let me keep the dick going regardless of how I feel. Let me keep having sex. Let me keep doing, and keep losing myself, right? rather than take a little time out, because if I'm not on the dick, then another woman's gonna jump on the man and I'm gonna lose. So you're actually engaging in sex in hopes to not lose? Like, where did we go as women, right? Like, women are actually engaging in sex with people in hopes to keep up energy so that no one else can occupy their lover's time. Yourself doing that, really say to yourself, what do I really gotta lose? You know, like, if this person or the person that you love is really in your life, and if you don't know if you love them, but you're just in a sexual relationship with them, you know, that's something to cultivate and say to yourself as well. Something is there. You know, we as women are not men. I don't care how much we think that it's a co-ed, gender-based, balanced society. It would be nice to be treated fair, but our internal organs are not the same. We cannot just go from partner to partner and not hold the memory or the imprint of that person's soul in our psyche, in our mind. That to me is one of the main reasons why women are crazy, is because they have at least 20 to 30 lovers running through them while they're still with one. So they never really got over, you know, the 20 between the age of like 18 and 30. So now they're in a committed relationship. They're not sleeping well. You know, things go great for the first 2-3 years. But then actually when you really get to know someone, I always tell women, you can laugh at me and my choices, but I was in a relationship for 15 years. And I know what it is to not only give, but to receive. And to also compromise. And to also not have. And to also have. Because we did that. So, you know, these are the things that I highlight. And not to hang up, but to be prepared for what's to come. Because if you don't address where you are in the now, that's when you have a nervous breakdown, develop breast cancer, and have a whole bunch of migraines and headaches. So why not save yourself all of that future by whether it's taking a year or two, whether it's saying, hey, this isn't the right fit anymore, and addressing that. You know, it's like beating a dead horse. I'd rather get off and walk than drag the dead horse through the desert. You know, it might take a little longer for us to get there, but, you know, at least we're not killing the dead horse that's already said, hey, I don't have any more energy. You understand? So really listen to yourself, and if you don't know how, that's when you need to say, I don't even know what my thoughts are. What do I think? Do I know where my thoughts start and end? And keep a journal, and don't let anybody read it. Don't feel as though it has to be perfect, and don't keep yourself in these little, you know, prisms of, you know, I'm this age, so this needs to happen. I was with someone for 9 years before I had a kid, and you know, I'm grateful that I took my time, because in all, we know this soul. In knowing certain aspects of self, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we can shape and redefine it through amor. So, you know, take some time, love, and silence yourself when you need, and don't watch shows and a whole bunch of stuff that makes you feel like lowly about yourself. That show actually makes me feel bad. Like, I don't like watching stuff where black women are lying about the situations that we would accept. And if that's them, we gotta do better for ourselves, girls. Come on now. Like, come on. I like you better because you look like a slave. Put on. This is what you've gotta listen to? We gotta do better than that. See you guys later. Much love and light. Peace out.